Hello, hello, citizens and UEMC miners. Rockseeker here, your host for the series on exploration and mining. And I'm here with Stim. On the last episode, we discussed about the basically the AUK and the Hammerhead, and a bit of the 890, of course. Not to neglect Stim's 890. But now we're going to discuss about what's very relevant to the UEMC, the United Earth Mining Corporation. That's the Orion. Unfortunately, this video will come out after the sale is over. But as I mentioned in the last video, and as you probably know by now, the Orion, when on the RSI day, there was this small video by CAG every day, and they said basically that the Orion's going to be double the size of what it was initially concept. So it was concept at 170 meters. So people extrapolated that it would be at 340 meter, 340, and that's about the size of the Javelin for $325.
It's a pretty good investment, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm surprised, knowing, especially being them, knowing that you would put forward this video and that everybody would see it, that they left it at the price it was. They would have put it at 500, people would have jumped on it. Because compared to a 2700 Javelin or even a 1300 Idris, I mean, like you get something like that huge, but it's dedicated, right?
Yep, and it's dedicated. It's one thing. One of the things we've figured out from a pricing perspective is having your ship be a moneymaker doesn't really affect the price of the ship. I think there's, and we discussed this a little bit beforehand, but I think there's 5 main variables in terms of ship pricing. I think you've got clearly the size of the ship, right? But then it's how close to being in the game it is. So what is the development stage, as you're putting it? How close
because the Orion is like, it's one of the last one to come out. They're just starting to work on it, but it's huge. And I think it was slotted for 4.0, basically better, right?
And that's the same with the Endeavor, right? So it's supposed to come out 4.0 or later. And it's only $350. Now that's the base, mind you, but that's going to be a big ship. It's going to have a lot of versatility, but it's not military.
I expect that one to inflate a bit too.
Yeah, in terms of size or price or both?
Yeah, both, right.
I would think so. But then we just hit the nail on the head. So the third thing is the combat capability as well, which is why the Hammerhead's so expensive, because it's not a very big ship. It's, what's the size of the Hammerhead? It's about Polaris, a little bit smaller than a Polaris. But Polaris is also a military ship, so it's an expensive ship because of that. The other 2 things don't apply for the Hammerhead or the Orion, but out of interest, those would be the luxury and alien taxes.
Yeah.
That
alien tax. Talk to me about the alien tax. I got my LTI glaive, so it's done. So I got the LTI glaive, and I paid the alien tax for it. So.
But I think getting back to the Orion, it means that if it's going to stay at 325, my guess is that it's not going to be anywhere near 3.1. Like some people are guessing, even though we know it's sort of 4.0, that pricing is foretelling as to when that ship will come out, I think.
Yeah. And I expect, I guess at that price, people that were not intending to buy it, I'm sure they bought some.
Could be.
And this brought new money, additional money. Income for CIG, because that's not an expense that people are necessarily thinking about. But now either they have it in their buyback or they have it in their hangar. But so that being said, again, we have a bit. We chat about that on Discord. Us being miners or interested in mining related activities. Obviously, we have a bit of a biased view on the value of the Orion.
Very true.
Some people really looking for FPS, right, first-person shooter, or looking for space combat and so on. Yes, okay, it's for what you get for the price is excellent, but at the same time for them has little value, right? A hammerhead will be much more valuable for them. So all depends on what you're looking for. Basically, there's a bit for everyone in that game. So.
But the hammerhead is designed for protecting things, and what better to protect than mining ships, hauling ships, science activities, all of that.
Yeah. So about the Orion, now that it went from Idris size to javelin size, like basically double the size. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're a miner, you don't necessarily have let's say you're not ready to invest that much money in pledge money, right? You want to grind your way up, right? So that's a ideal end game ship, right? The Orion, like having this massive ship. But now you start with the little one-seater prospector.
That's right.
What do? You kind of have to grind yourself. It's gonna take a long time.
You got to do something else outside of mining to get there.
Basically, there was already a gap. We knew we seriously expect a mining spider.
Yeah,
that we were expecting somewhere in between those. That's very good for ground play, right? We have now outpost, and they said there's going to be mining outpost and storage outpost, and we have the Pioneer. So the spider fits nicely in there. But now making it the Orion twice the size, there's a need for additional mining ships. Right?
Yeah, clearly we need a medium and a large.
So like a two crew kind of medium?
How many crew you said?
Two.
Two?
Two, three?
Yeah, and I don't know how big the spider's supposed to be. I mean, I remember seeing concepts that looked like it was a one person,
yeah, it's
but maybe two? Only one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we need a 2 to 3, and then we need sort of again, like a 3 to 5 sort of mining ship in order to build that process through. If somebody wants to stay in mining the whole way, they need a growth path through mining. And yeah, you can work on an Orion, but maybe people want to captain their own ships the whole way for most of it. So, and I got to respect that. A lot of people do want to be the captain of their own vessel, and a lot of those people are investing a lot of money into the game. So that will probably end up getting rewarded.
Yeah. I just realized that for the last this episode and last two, I'm showing footage from 3.0, but it's still written Star Citizen 263 underneath. But I guess I'm going to have to correct that later. So yes, what you see is not 263. Of course, like you're flying here, the knocks on the surface of I don't remember where it was, but whatever. So yeah, so we need at least one, if not two, intermediate ship to be able to grind your way up. Could they customize or make a variant of an existing ship? Again,
that's a good point.
Maybe a possibility.
Yeah, it might be tough to put a refinery in an existing ship.
But do you need one for, let's say, the mid-size?
No, you don't need one for a large either, to be honest. You can haul all of that, or have haulers come and pick up drop tanks, just like the Prospector does, or even have some sort of way of getting that ore off. You do need to be able to select the ore that you're doing, which is what the Prospector allows and what the Orion allows, but it doesn't have to be refined. Yeah, there's a little bit of refining that goes in that process.
Yeah, because it's interesting with respect to the Orion. They said it's going to be so massive, so huge, it's going to be easier to move asteroids in front of it than actually move the Orion around to point at other asteroids.
So I got to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
The fact that they say that it's not agile enough and that you're going to be moving the asteroid, what that means, it could be such a big thing, Rock. So if all of the asteroids in a belt that are orbiting around a moon or a planet or what have you, if they are actually free moving and happen to be caught in the proper escape velocity or orbit of that planet, that you can move them. Now, maybe they're in some kind of container, but if you can actually move them, then that frees up. I mean, that frees up so many gameplay mechanics. People joke about being able to throw an asteroid at someone. I don't think we'll be able to do that, but that kind of let's say you could create a base and you anchor it between a bunch of asteroids. Well, you could probably
basically
do
like
that.
Grimex is, right?
You got it. You could probably do something like that as long as they bring in the other mechanics. The liberation of those asteroids from their defined space is something
points,
completely unique to any game.
Yeah, because you expect them, to be able to move on themselves, but not, basically it's not a 6-degree freedom, right? It's only like 3, basically on themselves. They can rotate whatever angle, but they don't translate. They just stay where they are, right? Or rotate around the sun all together at the same speed, but yeah. So we're already getting near the end of this one, but we agree that the Orion, if you're looking at industrial gameplay or especially mining, then that's a good investment, right? Especially at this time with the price it's at. It's going to definitely go up, but yeah, I can easily picture an Orion just going in a straight line through an asteroid field and just chewing everything on its way, going in a straight line. So
it's worth getting one in your buybacks if you have the extra cash.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I've got I don't know, I'm gonna have 6 or 9 in my buybacks.
Cash or credits.
So on this, the video I was just playing is over, and so is this video. So I don't know. What else could we talk about the next episode? I guess we'll have to think about this, and you guys will have to come back and see what we decided to discuss about. So
we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have. In the meantime, we'll just enjoy our beer. Maybe get another one.
That's good.
We'll see.
Clink.
So, so take care, guys, and see you on the UEMC Discord if you're looking for a fun group to hang around with and have interesting discussion all day. Maybe too much, especially if you have work to do, but you just have to close it sometimes. But so, and otherwise, we'll meet in the verse. 3.0 soon for me, already for you. Maybe that's something we could discuss about. We'll see.
Good.
Next episode. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, and 890s. Yeah. Bye.